All right, another day, another car vlog, and there is a white pill element to this vlog and a black pill element to this vlog. Viva Frei, Montreal litigator turned Florida rumbler, and as I wait for one of my kids to do their weekend activities, I said I'm going to be productive again and make another vlog. This one sort of ties together a number of stories that we talked about over the course of the week, from Joe Biden and the allegations that he mistreats his dogs, to the white pill moment of Phil Demers, the walrus whisperer, successfully advocating for the release, or at least placement in a sanctuary, of Romeo and Juliet, the most lonely manatees in the world, to say that social media campaigns can have an impact, and we're going to try to bring something of a social media pressure campaign, because this story is coming out of Ohio, and it's a police officer who's moving on to greener pastures of a career, offering to buy his canine, his service dog, for $10,000 so that he can take his dog with him, who he's worked with for over a half a decade, and was told no. From the Daily Mail, quote, "We're the only family he knows," end quote. Ohio canine cop is left heartbroken after $10,000 offer to buy his beloved canine partner, Igor, from the force as he moves to another city is rejected, with dog now sitting in a kennel. By James Gordon for thedailymail.com. So bringing it all back to Alex Jones on Tucker Carlson last Thursday, dropping what I thought was something of an explosive bombshell that had already been dropped by Tom Fitton, to the effect that Joe Biden, allegedly, according to inside sources, abuses his dog, which might explain why his dog Commander has bitten now 10 service people or Secret Service that work for Joe Biden.
Now they're covering the laptop. Now they're covering attacking the dog. Now they're covering, all of his senility. All the corruption, the Chinese spies.
Attacking a dog. What a pig he is. I'm sorry.
Well, I was told that by Secret Service and by people that, let's just say, work with them. And I'm going to leave it at that. But I actually have a contact for you. I'd like to be able to hear it from them. But when this is over, I'll let you actually hear it from yourself. I think they'll tell you off record. I think they're willing to talk to you.
After Jones on Tucker Carlson, I made the bold prediction Friday morning that Alex Jones would be back on Twitter within the month. And lo and behold, Sunday, today, as of the time of shooting this vlog, Alex Jones is back on Twitter and had his first engagement on Twitter in over 5 years. Quote, tweeting Andrew Tate, "To show respect to Alex Jones for his triumphant return, and to show respect to Elon being a hero. Tell a globalist to get today. I'll do exactly that and put all the video on rumble.com. We are so back." So with that parentheses closed, something of a white pill, a win for free speech, and Elon Musk actually taking the go F yourselves to people who would try to blackmail him with their money. Good for Alex Jones, good for Elon Musk. Something of a white pill there. The other white pill that sort of loops into this story is the pressure tactics. The pressure campaigns waged on social media can occasionally yield positive results for people and for animals, as we saw of the case of Phil Demers, the walrus whisperer, advocating for the release into a sanctuary of the world's loneliest manatees, Romeo and Juliet, in the Miami Seaquarium.
Comes from the great mythological creatures known as sirens. These partially human, female creatures, better known today as mermaids, were said to have lured ships onto rocks with their mesmerizing songs.
I mean, that's possibly one of the worst things I've ever seen in any zoo. One manatee has been here since 1958. Got hair mouth. And it seems that that's it. That's their existence. Those two soup bowls, and there's a little door that they can go from one to the next.
What if they get too fat?
That's okay. That's so bad that even my kids said those animals look miserable.
Phil Demers, the walrus whisperer who successfully advocated for the release into a better environment of Smooshy the walrus from Canada's Marineland, came down here to Florida to put his sights on the Miami Seaquarium and their treatment of an orca, Lolita, who has since died in captivity. Turned his attention to the loneliest manatees in the world, Romeo and Juliet, swimming around in those glorified swimming pools that would be a disappointment to a child if they were a hotel swimming pool, that were housing these high-order mammals. Romeo and Juliet manatees, housing them for decades. Romeo was 60-some-odd years old, Juliet was 40-some-odd years old, and they have spent literally decades in these bona fide soup bowls, until now, because of the pressure campaign brought by Phil Demers, the walrus whisperer, they have been moved to a sanctuary, and they are going to live out the last remaining years of their lives in something of a wonderful, better improvement of an environment. From a publication called Green Matters, captive since the 50s, manatees Romeo and Juliet have finally been transferred out. 3 manatees have lived in captivity for decades. Allegations of inadequate shelter and mistreatment have prompted their transfer to another zoo. So now that we've seen that social media pressure campaigns can actually yield positive results in real time, I think this story is deserving of one. It's an Ohio cop who is moving on to greener pastures as far as a career is concerned, who has been working with his service dog, like the service police dog, for over 5 years, wants to take his dog with him, stay together because it's better for the dog and the owner, and he's being told no despite having offered to pay $10,000 to buy his own service dog. Back to the Daily Mail article, an Ohio police officer who is set to move to a new city has been left devastated after his chief refused to allow him to take his canine partner with him despite offering a $10,000 cash donation to the force. Officer Chad Hagen has worked with his canine, a 6-year-old German Shepherd named Igor, for 5 years at the city of Shaker Heights Police Department. The officer in question, Chad Hagen, has been working with his German Shepherd for 5 years since the dog was 1. Apparently, as one would imagine, politics ruining everything. There is some politics involved in this, but not like the Joe Biden versus Donald Trump politics. Politics as in the struggle for power. Someone might have gotten insulted, miffed at Officer Hagen's decision to leave his current position. Hagen is leaving the force to move to another job in law enforcement closer to where he lives and did not believe his request and subsequent offer of cash was unreasonable. When Officer Hagen gave his 2 weeks notice on Thanksgiving, he was instructed to turn Igor in at a local kennel, all at local taxpayers' expense. Quote, the first thing that was said to him by the chief was, we need to figure out what we're going to do with Igor. That kind of struck Chad the wrong way. He wasn't saying he was leaving, so when that happened, he was like, well, wow, that kind of a slap in the face, Danielle Hagen explained. Quote, we offered $10,000 of our own money, and to be honest, I guarantee Chad would have paid more than that. But the chief came back and said no financial number will be considered, she said. The city of Shaker Heights have said the administration does not have the authority to sell the dog and that Igor is expected to return to duty. Duty. And out of spite is refusing to allow Officer Hagen to buy his own dog, move with him, so that that dog, who should be scheduled for retirement sometime soon anyhow, because according to my sources, Lynn Westover, who served in the military, who has a little bit of knowledge and experience when it comes to these things, according to Lynn Westover and his circle of friends who also have a little bit of knowledge in this, the average work life for a dog like this is 6 to 7 years. So at best, this dog might get another 1 or 2 years, not with Officer Hagen, before it would retire anyhow. Quote, he's been with us through our first home, our forever home, marriage, having a baby, been with us through everything, end quote. Danielle Hagen, Chad's wife, said to WOIO, quote, we're the only family that he knows, end quote. But with Hagen's departure, Police Chief Wayne Hudson wants the police dog to remain with the force, noting how he has several years of service left to give the community. And so it seems that the decision to not allow the officer to buy his own dog, and from what I'm told also, typically, they don't make you pay an arm and a leg for your own dog. They do it as a courtesy, as an act of respect, to let the handler take their own dog into retirement for the golden years of the dog's life. Typically, they don't make them pay $10,000, but this officer offered to pay $10,000 and was still told no.
You know what? No. Yeah, no. Yeah, no. Yeah.
Apparently, a petition has been set up at change.org, so you can go and sign that if you want to put your name to something to let the Ohio Police Department, forces that be, know that the general population, the general public, thinks that the humane, proper thing to do would be to allow this dog to retire with his handler, with whom he's worked for 5 years. So you can go sign that. Wait until you listen to this. Chief Hudson stated, quote, it, referring to canine Igor, not as a he, but as an it, is a tool, and there is no financial amount that would be considered, end quote. First of all, even a tool has a price, assuming you view this dog as a tool, but the only one tool in this is Chief Hudson. But moving on, a change.org petition has now been created with more than 5,500 signatures championing the family's cause to have the dog live out his days with them. The petition alleges the chief is acting out of spite in stopping Hagen from taking the dog with him. So you can go sign that, but you look at that dog is beautiful. Anybody who has had a dog knows that dogs are family, and it's not just because it was a work dog that it can be treated as an object of work. And even if you can squeeze another 1, 2, or maybe even 3 years out of this dog for cost effectiveness for the Ohio Police Department, what damage do you think it does to a dog like that to then have to go and be adopted by another family, another person with whom he's totally unfamiliar? It's not good for the dog. It's not good for the officer. It's not good for anybody. But lo and behold, revenge is a dish best served cold, and that seems like what is on the dinner menu plate for tonight.
Revenge is a meal best served cold.
So that's the story. And hopefully if this trends on social media, if there's enough of a social media public opinion pressure campaign, people will do the right thing, because it seems that people only do the right thing after they have been publicly shamed, as we've seen from the University of Pennsylvania former president Liz McGill, who had to retire because of the public shaming she got from Elise Stefanik's questioning. So if there's a public social media campaign to pressure the police force, whoever's in charge there, to make the right decision and let this dog retire with his owner, with his master, with his best friend,
let's make that happen.
and with that said, if you like what I do, be sure to like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell, drop a comment in the comment section below. I do these car vlogs, but I predominantly do live streams. Sunday night is the night for the Viva Barnes Law Extravaganza, 6 o'clock Eastern time, for everything you need to know of the law verse, political verse. I do daily streams on Rumble, Viva Frei on Rumble, the Viva Frei on Twitter for the saucier Viva, and vivabarneslaw.locals.com, where we have an above average community on locals. Be sure to, follow wherever you want. But with that said, now you know you vlog. Peace. Booyah! Dogs are not our whole life, but they make our lives whole. American nature photographer and writer Roger Karras.